Unmuted.
Okay, is everyone ready? The meeting of the City of Socorro, the City Council is set to begin. First and foremost, the City of Socorro would like to thank everyone and ask for your patience during the difficult time we have been presented with. Everyone, please remember to silence any electronics to avoid sound interruption. No disruptive behavior or outbursts will be tolerated, and violators are subject to call disconnection and possible prosecution. In accordance with Section 418.016 of the Texas Government Code and by order of the Office of the Governor issued March 16, 2020, the City Council of the City of Socorro will broadcast the meeting scheduled today, Thursday, October 15, 2020, at 6 p.m. from City Hall chambers located at 860 Rio Vista, Socorro, Texas, via telephone conference and live stream in order to advance the public health goal and practice social distancing to slow the spread of the coronavirus COVID-19. The public that signed up and any presenters will be called upon by the presiding officer during the meeting to speak during the public comment and their agenda item during the meeting following Government Code 551.042. La reunión del Concilio de la Ciudad de Socorro está por empezar. Primeramente queremos dar las gracias y pedimos su paciencia durante estos momentos críticos que enfrentamos. Le pedimos de poner en silencio todo equipo electrónico para evitar interrupción de sonido. No se va a tolerar ningún tipo de comportamiento perjudicial o revoltoso. A quien no siga estas reglas, su llamada será desconectada y puede ser infraccionado. De acuerdo con sección 418.016 del Código del Gobierno de Texas y por orden de la Oficina del Gobernador anunciada el 16 de marzo 2020, el Concilio de la Ciudad de Socorro transmitirá su reunión hoy, jueves 15 de octubre de 2020, a las 6 p.m. desde la sala del Concilio, ubicados en 860 Rio Vista Road, Socorro, Texas, por medio de conferencia telefónica y será transmitida en vivo para avanzar el objetivo de la salud pública y practicar el distanciamiento social para tomar medidas preventivas para prevenir la propagación del coronavirus COVID-19 a los demás y por la seguridad del público. El público y los presentadores serán anunciados por el oficial conduciendo la reunión para poder hablar durante la sección del comentario público o después de la discusión del artículo de la agenda por cual se apuntaron siguiendo las reglas del gobierno 551.042.
6:10, the meeting is now called to order. Ms. Rodarte, would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yes, ma'am. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item number 3, establishment of quorum.
René Rodríguez.
Here.
Cesar Nevares.
Here.
Ralph Duran.
Here.
Mayor Elia Garcia.
Here.
Victor Pérez.
Here.
And Ivan Colón Villalobos.
Yes, here.
Mayor, we have a quorum.
Item number 4, public comment.
We have one speaker signed up, Mayor, Miriam Cruz.
Hello?
Ms. Cruz, go ahead.
Thank you. Good evening. This is Miriam Cruz. I just wanted to let you guys know I wanted to make a comment. I haven't made a comment in a while. Sorry about that. Even though it was an issue that actually has come up during the last few meetings. So at the last meeting that I participated, I was told a few times, or it was mentioned a few times, that several of the items were, there was a public comment time provided for the public to speak. And I just wanted to mention that there's actually a few items that I've signed up for in the past and I actually haven't been allowed, or haven't been unmuted and then called on. Obviously, I know that there are times where I have been called and either my line had gotten disconnected or for whatever reason I had to hang up. But there are also times where I have actually been waiting on the line and my name hasn't been called. Now, I understand that,
Ms. Cruz, you have a really bad connection. We are unable to hear you.
is this any better? Is this better?
You sound extremely muffled.
All right, give me a second. Let me try something else. Is this any better?
Yes, ma'am.
Extremely better.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great, thanks. I was just mentioning, I know that Ms. Navarro, whoever's conducting the meeting, sometimes it's busy, sometimes may forget, and I understand that it's a human mistake. I also make mistakes myself. I am not perfect. But I also just wanted to mention that because even though it was mentioned at the last meeting that I participated that, you know, public comment was allowed, obviously when I've been there in person and I stand up, I make, you know, hand signs, I wave my arms around, hey, I signed up to speak on that item, I can get someone's attention. But obviously now that we're doing this via Zoom, via phone, I can't do that. So I'm not sure if there's a way that we can, you know, fix that, rectify that. Obviously, I'm not asking for any agenda items, any specific agenda items to be brought back, at least not at this moment. But in the future, if it's something that you guys can consider, how is it that the public can get, you know, the secretary's attention in order so that it's clear that someone had actually signed up to speak on an item or even for public comment and maybe wasn't called upon. Whether it's a messaging board, I know that the comments are turned off on the YouTube video. I don't know if those can be turned on. I can understand why they would be turned off, but I also want to find a solution to this issue since we obviously may continue to do this video and phone calling for the new future. So
Ms. Cruz,
I
your
wanted to
time
bring
is
that up, and thank you very much. You guys, I'll be speaking on a few items today. Thank you.
Mayor, and that's all the speakers we have for today.
Item number 5, presentation and recognition to 10-year anniversaries for Christopher Ray, Jaciel Munoz, and Israel Rodriguez.
Sergeant Munoz, Corporal Rodriguez, and LT Ray, can you come to the camera? Chief? So I want to start by saying congratulations. This year marks a significant milestone in your service to the city of Socorro. The successful growth of our city is a direct result of you, our valued employees. Your dedication and commitment serve as a vital link in the chain which drives our operation. In recognition of that commitment, we are pleased to present you with the Flame Award as a small token of appreciation to your hard work and dedication to this department. Thank you. I don't know if council wants to and wish them, you know, do you have any words for them?
Mr. Rodriguez?
Well, I just want to say thank you. I know it's I think that all of us in council agree that, you know, it's hard work and dedication that you're giving your time to the city. I hope you continue to do so. You know, that's why we're proud of our employees, because the dedication that they show, they love their job, they come every day, and hopefully, you know, you guys really understand that we really do value our employees, and we just want to say thank you.
Chief?
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to speak about these 3 individuals since I've been here. They've all taken on different responsibilities due to the growth of the police department. Lieutenant Ray has become the patrol and investigations commander, which was a role that he wasn't fulfilling before. So he's he's growing into that and learning his job and responsibilities, doing a great job. Sergeant Munoz has become recently our training sergeant and has revamped the system. He's got whiteboards and notes all over his office. He's just doing a phenomenal job as far as keeping us up to date with TCOL, which is our parent organization in the state of Texas that looks after our certifications. And Corporal Irod is, well, he moved into a patrol supervisor spot. When I first got here, he was a detective, and he took the challenge, he moved into the supervisor spot. So he's running a squad now, responsibilities that he didn't have before. Not only does he have to worry about, or not only does he have to worry about himself, but now obviously he has the other employees. So this is the type of growth and experiences that we're bringing to these three individuals, and I thank them for putting in their time and dedication into the department.
Mr. Duran?
Known all of these officers for the 10 years that they've been here. They've gone through some really tough times, and they stuck with it. They helped out to make this police department as good as it is today. And for that, I want to thank these three, not only for sticking with Socorro, but for making it the police department that we have now.
Mr. Perez?
Yes, I want to echo all of what my colleagues have said, but also the fact that they've been with Socorro for 10 years, it means that they're invested in the community. They're part of the community, and they know that that we're growing, and the fact that we are safe is in no small connect. It's not a small connection to them. They are a major part of that safety in the city. And so again, thank you very much for your service, your support, and please continue with the city. You can go anywhere else. We know that, especially with your skills now. So please don't go, stay, and continue contributing to the city and being part of it. Thank you.
Mr. Perez? Mr. Nevares, I'm sorry?
Gentlemen, thank you for your years of extreme commitment. We are all very proud of you. And like Mr. Bettis said, please don't leave, stay with us. Nothing but good comments from the public, and we see it. So congratulations and keep doing a great job. Thank you.
I just want to say congratulations to all three of you for sticking with this community, with the city of Socorro. I know firsthand the challenges that you all face on a daily basis, from working with criminals to being far from civilization to lack of resources. I know that it's been very challenging. You've all have overcome quite a few bumps and hurdles in the road and quite a few change in administration, not only from within the police department, but city councils. And I know that every time there's a change, the only ones that suffer are you guys. But I really admire, your loyalty to the city of Socorro and your willingness to do your job with a smile and put in that uniform and do your best each and every day. Thank you.
Any of you guys want to say something? LT?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for everyone for those kind words. I can speak for myself and the rest of the Corporal Rodriguez, as well as Sergeant Munoz, that we're here because we love doing our job. The citizens of Socorro have, depending on what kind of situation that we've been in, we've always, we've sweat, blood, and tears is what they call it, and we've definitely done that for Socorro, and it's our extended family, since we're there most of the time away from our families. So if we're not with our families, we're here in Socorro, doing our jobs and with the citizens of Socorro. So I want to thank everybody there who have told us those kind words. And again, we're going to continue to do our jobs to the best of our abilities and continue to do it. And so it's time to hang up the uniform. So thank you all.
Can you all hear me?
Yes.
After what Lieutenant Ray was saying, a lot of us here, this 10-year journey has been very rewarding. It's been hard, and like the lieutenant said, we've shed blood, sweat, and tears for this city. We've become really close to the community, and we continue to work to make this police department and this organization a better organization for the next 10 years to come.
Hi, Rod, you there?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, you kind of muffled.
Um, I'd like to thank everybody for acknowledging our years of service here. Me growing up here in the city of Socorro, I joined the department so I can make a difference in the city of Socorro. And I think that I'm doing that in these 10 years that I've been here. And I still have more years to come, so I'll be here for a while. So thank you for the acknowledgement for these 10 years.
Again, guys, thank you for your years of service. We appreciate you.
Item number 6, presentation on the City of Socorro's Community Initiatives, Year 1 Annual Report to City Council.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. This is Alejandra Valadez. Or should I wait for a motion?
It's just a presentation, so we don't need a motion.
You're right. Sorry about that. Once again, my name is Alejandra Valadez, Grants Coordinator for the City of Socorro. First of all, I want to thank you all for the opportunity to present the CSCI's, the City of Socorro Community Initiatives, first annual report to the city. I do want to state that our board of directors was very eager and very excited to present this report to you directly. And will more than likely present a bit more on some of our survey findings at our next council meeting. As you know, starting a new nonprofit organization is from scratch is a tremendous task. And so we have tried to provide the most concise summary of all of the work that we have been doing towards establishing the organization over the past year in this report here today. And I'll go ahead and share that now. This is a report that is included in your backup as well. Firstly, we want to state that the City Council of the City of Socorro did establish the nonprofit in February of 2019. The council recognized an opportunity to better serve the residents of Socorro, Texas through this nonprofit, and also recognized that there was a persistent lack of non-governmental organizations that were serving the community of Socorro. The CSCI is an affiliate to the City of Socorro, and it was established to assist the city in furthering its mission to improve the Socorro community by focusing on efforts where the consensus and collaboration between the local government, our key partners, and the community exists. In this report, we do detail our activities during year 1, which include the drafting and adoption of our formation documents, our foundational work in establishing a shared mission, vision, and values, and we have begun to forge ahead with our first strategic plan, which is currently in the works. We also detail some of our expected outcomes for year 2 of our work, which include the adoption and implementation of our strategic plan. And I'll go ahead and move this over. To provide a brief timeline of the work that the nonprofit has done over the past year, starting with February 2019, we received council approval to go ahead and start the formation of the 501c3. In June 2019, the CSCI filed its Articles of Incorporation and Certificate of Formation with the Secretary of State, which formalized it as a corporation in the state of Texas. In July 2019, the CSCI drafted its bylaws and began to recruit community leaders to serve on the CSCI Board of Directors. The directors were appointed by council in July of 2019. In August of 2019, the CSCI met for the first time and adopted its organizational bylaws and also made some key decisions in terms of how to structure the organization as an affiliate to the city of Socorro. In March 2020, we received our IRS determination letter, which established its exemption under Section 501c3 of the Internal Revenue Code. And then starting from our first board meeting in August of 2019, we have been undergoing our strategic planning process. This is a brief overview of our strategic planning process. As you know, a strategic planning process is very lengthy and sometimes costly. In order to reduce those costs and kind of get a little bit more in depth through this process, we have decided to undergo this process in-house. It is taking a little bit longer, but we are very confident in the work that we have put into towards this strategic plan. I do want to state that we have completed most of the preliminary work for the strategic plan, which included the research, data collection, the community input and analysis, and have defined our focus areas for the nonprofit through this process. The CSCI has worked towards a data-driven and consensus-building strategic plan that leverages existing resources as well as the input of the community in order to amplify our shared goals and efforts. Some of the activities that we undertook were an internal SWOT analysis with our board of directors. We also met with city leaders to identify existing capital projects and investments. We also conducted an external SWOT analysis through the deployment of a community survey. We asked survey respondents to identify what they perceived as Socorro's greatest strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And we received a lot of very positive feedback. This is one of the quotes that was kind of repeated throughout the survey. I'll now read it now. Our strongest asset is our historical mission and the history of Socorro. The best thing about living here is the people and its culture. So through these survey responses, the CSCI was able to identify both areas where the city is already focused its work, as well as areas that are supported by the community through this data-driven approach. With that, we were able to identify our mission, vision, and core values. Our mission is to promote a dynamic quality of life through advancements in cultural heritage, community development, and health and wellness in Socorro, Texas. Our core values, which we have adopted, include community accountability and collaboration. The CSCI commits to the core value of community by continuous communication to bring people together and bring our community together through collaborative efforts. The CSCI commits to the core value of accountability by committing to communication towards our measurable goals in a clear, consistent, and timely manner, and sharing successes and evaluating our strategic approach. The CSCI also commits to a core value of collaboration by having consistent outreach to the city, our local partners, key stakeholders, and the public to identify those shared goals and align our strategies. With that, the CSCI has analyzed all of those inputs and come up with our three main focus areas. Again, these focus areas are areas where the city has already invested and has projects, ongoing projects, and also areas that the community really would like to see move forward and supports. Our first focus area is history. Both the city and the community support our historic sites, and oral histories as one of our greatest assets. The CSCI will focus on preserving and promoting our local history, places, and culture. Our second focus area is arts and culture. Both the city and the community believe that visual and cultural arts can empower individuals. And the CI will support arts as a means to engage community members in learning about our local history and culture, and bring people together, much as you have seen the Socorro mural that our Socorro Youth and Culture Program has done an amazing job. Those are the type of projects that we would be supporting. Our third focus area is health and wellness. Both the city and the nonprofit believe that access to opportunities for active living is important, and that's the type of work that the nonprofit will more than likely support. Although our strategic plan is not yet finalized, the board of directors has adopted some key projects, and these key projects illustrate how history, arts and culture, and health and wellness kind of overlap in surprising ways. As an example, the Paso Norte Trail is a trail that connects our community to the county. So it provides opportunities for active living, walking, biking, but also connects our historical assets, such as the Socorro Mission and the Rio Vista Farm. The Passmore Shared Use Path, again, is an opportunity for active living, walking, biking, but also connects neighborhoods and schools to the Mission Trail and to the Isleta del Sur Pueblo Reservation. The Rio Vista Farm rehabilitation, again, the full rehabilitation would further the preservation of our history and also provide infrastructure and places where arts and culture can thrive. And then the Socorro Youth and Culture Program is a collaborative program for youth, and it's an example of how we can use art to engage youth, to connect with their community, learn about the history and the culture of Socorro. Our next steps now are to develop our measurable goals, objectives, and key strategies as part of our strategic planning process. The CSCI board is also developing our board manual, which establishes duties and responsibilities, many different policies such as conflict of interest, board evaluations, and more. In all of this work, we will be committing to upholding our core values of community, accountability, and communication. And of course, continuing our communication with the city of Socorro and our key partners as we adopt our strategic plan and also start the implementation of that plan. At this point, that concludes our first annual report. As I mentioned, our board of directors has expressed an eagerness to speak directly to the council and be able to answer some of your questions and provide further feedback on our community survey and some of our key findings. And at this time, I'm not sure if you'll have any questions.
Mr. Perez?
Thank you for the report, Ms. Valadez. Quick question. Only because I see that at least in my area, there was a push and there still is a push to have, for example, the bee farm and those kinds of things, stuff that's artisanal, and so, or activities that are artisanal or businesses. would the nonprofit support those kinds of things? Because it does contribute to the overall culture of the community.
Absolutely. We have talked about a farmer's market or an artist market as one of those key projects that overlaps all of these focus areas. So not only can we promote our local artists' work or the work that our artisans do, but we can promote access to fresh foods, fresh vegetables, local produce. And then although we have talked about this a lot. Although our focus area is not economic development, we can see how some of these activities would actually further economic development opportunities for local farmers and growers and artisans and artists.
Thank you.
Moving on to consent agenda, do we have a motion?
Motion to approve consent agenda.
Rene Rodriguez,
Aye.
Cesar Nevares,
Yes.
Ralph Duran,
Yes.
Victor Perez,
Aye.
and Ivan Colom Villalobos.
Yes.
Item number 9, public hearing of an ordinance authorizing the issuance and sale of City of Socorro, Texas general obligation refunding bonds, Series 2028, establishing procedures and delegating authority for the sale and delivery of the bonds, levying an annual ad valorem tax for the payment of said bonds, providing an effective date, and enacting other provisions relating to the subject. 6:39, public hearing is now open.
Does anybody wish to speak on item number 9, the public hearing?
Is there anybody on the line, Mayela?
I did have Miss Miriam Cruz, and then I had somebody just join from the group itself. But I don't know if they were just going to speak or not.
I don't wish to speak only because you guys didn't present present the information before. I'll wait for my chance on the item number 10. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mayor, she had signed for the next item, which is number 10.
Okay. 6:40, public hearing is now closed. Item number 10, second reading and adoption of an ordinance authorizing the issuance and sale of City of Socorro, Texas general obligation refunding bonds, Series 2028, establishing procedures and delegating authority for the sale and delivery of the bonds, levying an annual ad valorem tax for the payment of said bonds, providing an effective date, and enacting other provisions relating to the subject.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Mayor, we do have a speaker for this item.
Well, she wants to have presentation.
Hello?
Ms. Cruz?
Hear you.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, well, I thought you guys were gonna provide more information. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to, review the backup. So I really don't have anything to say. I'm surprised that no information was provided. I mean, I know there's a backup provided, but I mean, for people just tuning in, they don't know what procedures, y'all are passing. So anyway, I don't have any more to comment. Thanks.
Mr. Tejerina, did you have a presentation?
Yes, ma'am. Mayor Garcia, council members, Ms. Oblate, and staff. For the record, Robert Tijerina with Tijerina Galvan and Lawrence. We are the city's financial advisor. I hope everyone and their families are doing well this evening. We are here just to present the final pricing results from the refunding that was originally presented on September the 17th. We received the bids today at noon. A few hours ago, we were able to send the information to the staff to supply for the council members at this evening's meeting. If you turn to page 2, these are the 4 bids that we received at noon today from 4 different banks. One bank submitted 2 bids. And if you, the bids range, the interest rates range from as high as 1.78% to as low as 1.405%. And that was with Chase Bank. Our recommendation is highlighted in blue, Amegy Bank. They had an interest rate of 1.43%, and the call feature is callable anytime. So mayor, council members, if the city were to come into a windfall in a year or 2, you can pay off this debt with no penalty or premium attached to it, just the principal and the accrued interest at the time of the payoff date. And if for any reason, a year or 2 down the road, if the opposite of that, if the city were to be struggling financially, for example, you can refinance this debt, restructure this debt without any kind of payment or prepayment or penalty whatsoever. So our recommendation is going with Amegy Bank at 1.43%. There is no attorney fee attached to it, as it is with JP Morgan Chase Bank. And if you notice, the 1.405% non-callable option B from JP Morgan Chase, the fees are $1,500 for their attorney counsel. And stating what I just said earlier, if you come into a windfall, if you were to go with Chase Bank option B at 1.405%, you come into a windfall, you cannot pay off this debt. If you were struggling financially, you couldn't refinance this debt or restructure this debt at any time. When it says non-callable, it means you're at that interest rate for the life of the loan the next 11 years. So our recommendation is Amegy Bank, and the difference between the two is roughly about $1,600 overall on interest. So again, our recommendation is Amegy Bank because you can pay it off at any time or refinance it at any time without any payment or any penalty. If you turn to page 3, again, as we stated back on September the 17th, the plan of finance, we're refinancing combination tax and revenue certificates obligation series 2011, $1,730,000. The interest rate on the bottom left portion of the presentation, just above the shaded area in blue, the interest rate on the financing back in 2011 is 4.05%. We're going from 4.05% to 1.43%. A month ago, September the 17th, when I came in front of the council, the interest rate we're estimating was 1.6%. So again, it's about 17 basis points lower. The lower rate, you're able to save $30,000, a little bit more than $30,000 of additional interest. On the right-hand side of page 3, on the very bottom, shaded in gray, we have the overall savings, $231,414. Present value savings is $212,600. And again, the average annual savings is about $23,043. And as we all know, a refinancing or refunding, the goal is to lower the interest rate and you lower your annual bond payments. Again, we're not adding additional debt. We're not adding additional interest. We're not increasing the rate, and we're not adding additional debt to the city's overall name. And again, we're lowering the interest by lowering the interest rate, refinancing the debt of the city. If you turn to page 4, the item right before this item was the second reading. So if this item is approved by the council members, we will be closing this finance on December the 2nd. and then the bonds will be called and paid, the old bonds on March the 1st, 2021. On the last page, on page 5, we have the working group. We have the City of Socorro, Texas, financial advisor, bond counsel, McCall, Parker, and Horton. The purchaser and paying agent, they're going to act as both, as Amegy Bank. Escrow agent is U.S. Bank. The placement agent, FHN Financial. Mayor, council members, I know it's a lot of information, but again, congratulations on another refunding if this item is approved. Again, the goal was to lower the interest rate and save overall for the taxpayers of the city of Socorro.
Mr. Perez?
Mr. Tijerina, thank you for
Yes,
the
sir.
for the presentation. Quick question. Could you, for my benefit, explain what the MAC fee, what the MAC
Yes,
fee
sir.
is?
The MACFE Municipal Advisory Council, it's a depository in the state of Texas. It's really unique. It's a firm and a company here that people in our industry join in the state of Texas, and it's a depository that has all the debt, any issuer that has gone through the Texas Attorney General Office, whether it be the state of Texas, the Department of Public Transportation, if it is the city of El Paso, city of Socorro, or if it's Laredo Community College, or if it's Pearsall Independent School District. Anybody who's ever issued debt in the state of Texas, this depository agency has all of that. Every debt that the city of Socorro has ever issued is listed on this website. Even though you paid it off, it's listed on there. It has all the legal documents attached to it. It is such a great, unique agency that a lot of other states over the 20 years that I've been in this business has tried to mirror what we do here in Texas. So again, it's a depository for any issuer, or state agency, community college, University of Texas system, any debt they've issued, it's on this website. Irrigation district. So that MAC fee is based on the size of the financing that they set for every issuer in the state of Texas that we go through.
Great. Thank you for the explanation. I appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
Rodriguez?
Yes, I would just like to stress again that this is not, we're not going out for additional debt. This is debt city has already had in its books. All we're doing is refinancing to get a better interest rate that will lower our costs and will lower our savings. In other words, we'll keep more of our money, correct?
Absolutely, sir. To put it bluntly, the overall savings, you lowered the interest on the city of Socorro's debt by $231,000 if this agenda item is approved, because you lowered the rate from 4.05% to 1.43%. Just like a lot of us this year have probably refinanced our mortgages, our homes. We went out there, we lowered our interest rate on our mortgage, and what happened when we lowered the rate? Our monthly mortgage payments dropped. We saved anywhere from $200 to $400 a month.
Yes. So that's just, I just want people to know and understand that, because they'll you know, our the agenda item just to show that it is not going out for additional debt. That this is debt that we already have, and that what we're doing is we're doing our due diligence, going out there trying to find ways to save our people's money. And that's basically just what I want to stress out, is that we're saving over $200,000, which is great. So thank you.
Absolutely. And Mr. Perez, Mr. Rodarte, and Mr. Castellano, they've done a great job on trying to utilize these financing opportunities where the city can save money and the taxpayer can save money. The refunding you did earlier this year and this refunding, it will not increase the debt on the city's name. It will not require any additional INS tax rate increase or any type of utility rate increase. It is strictly savings for the community and the city.
Mr. Perez?
Just as a point of order, Madam Mayor, since there's a motion on the floor, should the motion be amended to reflect the entity that we choose or that will be voted on?
To go with Amagi Bank, you could state in the motion or in reading it, to go with Amagi Bank. Yes, sir.
Yes.
I think Mr. Rodriguez made the motion, right?
Correct.
So I'll amend my motion to go into Amity Bank.
Mr. Nevares, would you like to second that?
Second.
Rene Rodriguez,
Aye.
Cesar Nevares,
Yes.
Ralph Duran,
Yes.
Victor Perez,
Aye.
and Ivan Colom Villalobos.
Yes.
Item number 11, discussion and action to approve an amendment to the City of Socorro recruit police officer employment contract.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Dave Burton, Chief of Police for the City of Socorro. So as you are aware, last year we started our sponsorship program with the EPCC Law Enforcement Training Center. That's what we're referring to as the Academy. We sent our first 2 recruits there. They completed a 6-month training program and signed a 3-year commitment when they came out of that. Actually, before they went, but they signed a 3-year commitment as part of that process. So in looking at that, we did the same thing again this year. It's a very successful program. We actually had 58 applications that went through this process. We're actually sending 9 down to the EPCC as part of our expansion. But in looking at the contract, the way that we originally wrote it, we did incur some additional expenses for the application fee that we weren't planning on before. So that's what this language adjustment does for us in the contract. It allows the city to recoup not only the tuition fee in case an individual does not fulfill their 36-month obligation, but also any registration fee that goes along with that, any registration or application fee. And that includes such things as fingerprinting. The EPCC required a fingerprint application, which was $75, and we did not account for that the first time. Obviously, we picked up the cost on it, but we'd like to pass that along to the recruit if they do not fulfill this obligation. The other thing that we did with this is we did some language adjustment with the attorney as far as what the probationary period was for a recruit. And that came out, as you can see that in paragraph number 2, that spells out that the probationary period starts after the academy is completed. So the 12-month obligation that the city has for probationary period would be after the 6 months of schooling. And the reason for that is because we really don't see them for the first 6 months. Yes, we pay weekly visits to them, but they're really under the tutelage of the academy at that point. So their tutelage or their FTO training process with us doesn't start until they get back to us. And that's what we want them back for the 12 months. So then we can evaluate them to see if they can stay on with us or if we have to take further action as far as training, remedial type activity, or unfortunately, if we have to let them go at that point. So in red, I think Mayela put out there that the two agreements that we have, the one is the current one, and then the second one, you can see where the red application is that we made some clarification as far as what the obligations were. And I'll take any questions if you have them.
Rene Rodriguez,
Aye.
Cesar Nevares is absent. Ralph Duran,
Yes.
Victor Perez,
Aye.
and Ivan Colom Villalobos.
Yes.
Item number 12, discussion and action on the final plat approval for Waco Junction, Unit 1, being a portion of tracks 12A, 12C, Block 5, Socorro Grant, and a replat of Lot 1, Block 2, East Lake Valley subdivision, located at the intersection of Old Waco Tanks Road and Nuevo Waco Tanks Boulevard.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is the final plat approval for Waco Junction. There's really not a lot going on here with this plat. What you see on the screen is the final plat. This is a minor subdivision. They're gonna be creating 3 lots. All the improvements that are required have already been 100% complete. There's curb and gutter, there's asphalt pavement around the entire subdivision. This road that you see in the middle is a realignment of the old Waco tanks. So this is how the final plat will look. When the final plat is recorded, the owner will be dedicating an additional 24 feet of right-of-way for the widening of old Waco tanks on this little corner. This property is located in the corner of Old Waco Tanks and Nuevo Waco Tanks Road. I don't know if you have any questions about this development.
Mr. Duran?
Job, I'm looking at on my paperwork, and it's showing the irrigation canals being backed up.
I guess the lines that you see on the irrigation canals, those are head walls.
Okay, who's going to be responsible for those?
Well, those are property of the Water Improvement District. And the purpose of showing those on your backup is, I don't know if you have it in color, but there's a red line.
Yeah.
So the red line is the additional 24 feet of right-of-way they're gonna be dedicating. And that's just to show the approximate location of the head walls.
Okay.
So that you can get a better picture of the realignment of Old Waco Tanks Road. Will be right in the middle of those 2 head walls.
And what about the drainage on, is this going to change any of the drainage on these, on the 3 lots?
No, sir. Everything is already collected in the existing subdivisions. So all the runoff will be collected in the ponding areas that have already been complete, which is right here in this little area. I don't know if you have any other questions.
René Rodríguez,
Aye.
Cesar Nevares,
Yes.
Ralph Duran,
Yes.
Victor Perez,
Aye.
and Ivan Colom Villalobos.
Yes.
Item number 13, discussion and action to approve the hiring of a Parks and Public Works Director.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. The reason for this change is we had Mr. Alex Alvarez, our Public Works Supervisor, resign. His last day of work was last Friday, October the 9th. So giving us an opportunity to just look at how a supervisor and a director differs in the department. I think that the supervisor did an awesome job when it came to the field work. However, we do need someone that also has that administrative component. So we are asking to see if we can change it, not to have a supervisor and actually create a director position, which already existed in the past. So we're just introducing it again and knowing that it can make a difference in the budget from 10 to 20, depending on the experience that this individual brings of who we select.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Don't we have to change the employee chart as well?
I'm sorry? Correct. I mean, if it's approved, then that would be our next step.
Okay, I thought we should have done that first. Okay.
Mr. Duran?
I'm just kind of like looking at the salaries that we're gonna be paying for public works. I think we need to have more employees and less chiefs. That's all we do is keep adding more and more um, supervisory positions. It ran great with the last um, gentleman who was running it. I think we should need to just relook at this and try to save the amount of money that we're going to give a raise. I mean, this is $77,000, $70,000 for parks and public works. I just don't see that um, spending that kind of money just to have somebody else directing everybody what to do.
Mr. Perez?
Um, I think that we need to put it in perspective, though, that and understand that to Adriana's point, there is a difference between managing and leading a department, and so in this case, you need to be able to do both. And when you have the administrative experience, you will understand about setting up timelines, expectations, making sure that the work is directed correctly. The tasks are the flow of work is supervised and adhered to. So I think that although yes, the salary is what it is, I think that we need to be able to have that person with the administrative experience, and also be able to a certain extent, be the face of the department, because that way we are able to go through Adriana, be able to address issues and maybe concerns um, a little bit more on a timely manner, because and it's no one's fault at this point because of the situation, but I've gotten complaints about the turnaround times on some things that come up, and so I think that we need that person with the administrative capacity and experience to be able to get that done. Again, no, not casting aspersions on somebody that has the supervisory experience, but you need the administrative experience as well to go with it.
I agree with Mr. Perez and with Mr. Duran to a certain extent. My only concern is that we just passed our budget and we didn't foresee this position coming up. I understand that we didn't foresee a resignation either, but not that long ago, we hired our city planner, who I believe is doing a great job, and he's our highest paid employee in the entire city. And the reason why his salary was so high is because we needed to keep his talent within our city of Socorro. And the plan was that our city planner was going to oversee both our parks and public works and our planning and zoning director positions, and we would be able to offset the cost of his salary by having only a supervisor and not a director in parks and public works. So I'm not sure if that's not been working out. Maybe if we choose to hire a public works director, then we need to amend that salary as well to offset the cost, especially so close to having passed our budget.
René Rodríguez.
I'm sorry, but one quick question, if I may. Very quickly.
Mr. Perez?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yes, I'm sorry about the interruption. Adriana, quick question. What would be the turnaround time that you're looking at for hiring somebody? Or because I know that at this point you're looking to reinstate the job description, but when were you anticipating about
So
going out for?
if the position is approved today, I would post it tomorrow, and it's posted until filled. So so what we're thinking is of advertising it in the newspaper this Sunday to see what feedback we would receive. So, I mean, we do need a director, and yes, the city planner is here to, and he does oversee the departments. However, we need someone that's there on a day-to-day basis. And the city planner sometimes is moved away to talk to the engineers or has other, stuff on the plate that could not pay attention on a day-to-day. Just like I can't be there every day. I wish I could. And if I could, I would. But sometimes there's not enough time out in the day in order for us to give it the time that it deserves, right? I think our public works department is one of the most important departments in the city because that's who's um, how do you call it? Greasing the wheels, right? Where we're filling potholes. Where so we need that leader that makes sure that they are keeping up with the potholes, that our paving schedules are up to date. Are we getting the best price for what it is that we're implementing out in the streets? So we do need that person on a day-to-day basis. Again, the city planner is here, and that was the objective, and I think he still oversees the department, but sometimes we are pulled in very different directions. On, we have a lot of projects going on in the city as the Arteria 1. We have the Nuevo Hueco Tanks Road Extension, the South Nevares, and all of that takes time away from the actual field work.
And then just a follow-up, two follow-up questions if I can. So then, but it doesn't mean that going out to find a person at this point doesn't mean that you're going to automatically offer the 70,000.
No,
It's all commensurate with that person's experience, obviously. And two, in terms of the impact on the budget, what uh, uh, have you all or can you provide um, an explanation or what the impact on the budget would be at this point?
correct. So the difference between the supervisor and the public works director is from 10 to 20,000, depending if we're going to hire him at 60, that would be 10, of course 65, 15,000. We do have several vacancies throughout the city that I see with a budget amendment, we would be able to make sure that we cover that budget just because we no longer have the supervisor. The supervisor has been gone and will be gone until we hire a new director. And with the benefits and all of that, I mean, I think that the budget amendment could cover that difference.
Mr. Duran?
Thank you.
I agree with Mr. Perez that things are taking sometimes too long to get rectified. Potholes are being missed. There's a lot of things being missed. And what I see us doing here is we're removing another employee whose boots are on the ground doing the work, and we're going to have a director who's just going to sit there and tell people what to do. I just think that we just need to either move somebody into the position that he was in as a foreman to, or not a foreman, but anyway, the position that he was in. And let's do two things: save the city some money and keep as many people as we can working on all everything that we need to do in the city. So I do agree with Mr. Pettis that things are taking too long.
Mr. Perez?
Um, I see where Mr. Duran is coming from, but by the same token, I think that that's part of that would be part of the expectations that Ms. Rodarte would sit down with that individual and go over the expectations of in terms of being, because again, I talked about having a balance, and whomever is hired would have the at least from my standpoint, I would expect that person to be out in the field as well, supervising the things that are going on. Certainly, that would be the person's focus is, are we getting the job done? And as the old saying goes, what gets done is not what is expected; it's what's inspected. And so that person would have to inspect the activities and tasks that are taking place within their department. And so I think that, again, not to belabor the point, but that goes back to expectations from Ms. Rodarte's standpoint of making sure that that's very well communicated to the individual.
Mr. Duran?
I'd like to see more of a job description. I know this one gives a really long duties and functions. Um, but I'd like to see where it's going to show that he is going to be working in the street and not just sitting in an office. I'd like to see, just like what we had before. The gentleman we had before was excellent at getting the job done. I know that I have called and things were taken care of in a timely manner. And granted, sometimes some things weren't, but for the majority of it, and taking more people off, I just don't think that's the. I would like to see a better job description where he's going to be required to be in the field, just the same as the last person was.
I think that would be doable, no, Adriana?
Yes, it's covered in the job descriptions. As you all know, job descriptions have to be this lengthy just because to cover ourselves. And if you see at the end of every job description, we say responsible for any other assignments issued by the city of Socorro. And we do have to make sure that it's spelled out in order to protect us for a labor lawsuit. But this person is required to be out on the field and is required to do the administrative work. Again, I think that Alex did an excellent job out on the field, but we were lacking that administrative function that was, and that is the reason why we sometimes are delayed with the pothole requests, and because there was no organizational skills that were able to issue out the work orders in a timely manner. Um, and that's why I feel that the department is in dire need of this position.
Just, Madam Mayor, one last comment, if I may.
Mr. Perez?
If, Mr. Duran, if you look at towards the bottom where it says other job characteristics, it does say about working in trenches, exposure to inclement weather. So the expectation is there in terms of the person being out in the field. I think where maybe, and this would be an administrative function from Ms. Rodarte's standpoint as to the amount of time, perhaps, the person would be expected to be out with the crews and making sure that things get done, whether it's meeting them out in the morning and whatever the case may be, however they work that out. But I think that that's maybe something that may be worth considering, Ms. Rodarte, is just addressing maybe the percentage of time that that person would be out in the trenches with the crew. Again, that's something that you all would figure out, given the work level and workload. But certainly the expectation would be communicated at that point.
Correct, and that would just be an administrative function where we make sure that they're out on the field.
Rene Rodriguez,
Aye.
Cesar Nevares,
Yes.
Ralph Duran,
Yes.
Victor Perez,
Aye.
and Ivan Colom Villalobos.
Yes.
Item number 14, discussion and action on approving job description for foreman.
Motion to approve for discussion?
Second.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. And this is the foreman position that was approved during budget time. We just are putting the job description together so you can approve it and we can start our hiring process. But this was discussed during our budget workshops. And the foreman would actually be the person out in the field making sure that they're supervising and working with the employees.
Do we already have a motion?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes. Yeah, I don't know if you guys remember, but they did present us and we all voted for it. Just FYI.
Rene Rodriguez,
Aye.
Cesar Nevares,
Yes.
Ralph Duran,
Yes.
Victor Perez,
Aye.
and Ivan Colom Villalobos. Ms. Villalobos,
Hello? Yes. Can you hear me?
yes, ma'am.
Do we have anything for items 15, 16, and 17?
No, ma'am, but we do have 17 and 18. I'm sorry, 18 and 19.
So motion to delete items 15 through 17? Is that correct?
Yes. Second.
Rene Rodriguez,
Aye.
Cesar Nevares,
Yes.
Ralph Duran,
Yes.
Victor Perez,
Aye.
and Ivan Colom Villalobos.
Yes.
Do we have a motion to move into executive?
Motion made.
Second.
Rene Rodriguez,
Aye.
Cesar Nevares,
Yes.
Ralph Duran,
Yes.
Victor Perez,
Aye.
and Ivan Colom Villalobos.
Yes.
And it's 7:18.
Okay, And we are now back in regular session.
We're back in regular session. Item number 18, discussion and action regarding personnel matters involving municipal courts under 551.071 and 551.074.
I'd like to go ahead and make a motion at this time to address the issues involving the municipal court matters at the next meeting, to include the possible censure of the individual in that item.
Second.
Rene Rodriguez,
Aye.
Cesar Nevares,
Yes.
Ralph Duran,
No.
Victor Perez,
Aye.
and Ivan Colom Villalobos.
Yes.
Item number 19, discussion and action on the authorization for the acquisition of properties related to the North Nevada's roadway project.
Make a motion to go with Mr. Perez's recommendation.
Second.
Rene Rodriguez,
Aye.
Cesar Nevares,
Yes.
Ralph Duran,
Yes.
Victor Perez,
Aye.
and Ivan Colom Villalobos.
Yes.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Wait, Jim, did we tackle both of them?
Well, you said to go with Mr. Bettis's recommendation.
So that covers.
Both.
Yeah,
Yes,
I was
okay.
about to interrupt, but then I realized, well, I mean, he had a recommendation on each property, so that's the
Okay.
recommendation.
And then we're good. Thank you.
Even,
Yeah.
even we can understand that.
Thank you.
18 and 90, just to be sure.
Rene Rodriguez,
Aye.
Cesar Nevares,
Yes.
Ralph Duran,
Yes.
Victor Perez,
Aye.
and Ivan Colom Villalobos.
Yes.
Already.
Good night, everyone.
You guys,
And we
thank
Good
adjourn
night.
at 8:04.
Be safe.
Okay, guys. Bye-bye.